Hello, everyone. Amanda Williams, MD, MPH, here with you to talk about what in the world is a nucleotide. We get this question all the time. People will come into the store and they see our nucleotide complex and they say, what is that? And how would that be beneficial for me? So I thought I would just kind of give you a brief overview of what a nucleotide is and why utilizing the nucleotide as a supplement may be beneficial, especially right now. We're getting into the normal cold and flu season and obviously still dealing with a pandemic on top of that. So it is always beneficial to make sure that we are taking care of our immune system. So, what exactly is nucleotide? Well, when we think about our DNA, so we have DNA, which is deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is the foundation for our genes. So when we talk about genetics, most people have seen the double helix and that structure. Well, within that structure, we have these nucleotides, and they are these base pairs. So there is, in DNA, there is adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. And those base pairs, those actual nucleic acids, are what design us to be who we are. They are the code, they are the building block to make sure everything in the body is functioning. They are the playbook to our genetic makeup. So we know that they're very important. But when it comes to nutritional supplementation of a nucleotide, why would someone want to take a nucleotide complex? Well, we can go back and we can look at how nucleotide supplementation kind of broke its way into, let's say, modern medicine. And the one thing that we recognized was in infants, so in neonates or preemies that had an underdeveloped immune system, they found that when they included these very important nucleic acids that help our cellular DNA, that this actually helped them in terms of thriving. So, thriving and surviving, and that's really very important. So, it was helping to maintain their immune system. It was actually helping for the development of their immune system. So, we know a lot about nucleotides. We know that they are the backbone to that double helix. We also know that when it comes to our immune system, they seem to be playing a really important role in terms of immune defenses. And in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, they were looking specifically at how nucleotides were functioning. And the scientists were kind of like, what exactly are these nucleotides doing and how are they working? And they found this really strong correlation within the intestines. And so, what do we know now about the intestines? We know that 70% at least of our immune defenses are located within the intestines. So, they found this strong correlation of these nucleic acids within the small intestines in particular. And they recognized how it was leading to this activation of key components of our immune system that was helping to bolster up our immune defenses, which is really quite cool. So, the human body is really just such an amazing thing. And we think, okay, so we have these base pairs, and they're kind of controlling all of these different aspects of our health. And indeed, it is. So, when we think, once again, supplementation, why would one want to take nucleotide complex? Well, we can look at just the immune system support in and of itself. So, right now, getting into cold and flu season, it would be advantageous to consider having nucleotides as part of your daily supplementation routine. Now, how many should you take? Generally speaking, one, two is usually sufficient for the day. Now, if we feel like we're coming down with something, then we really want to try to supercharge our immune system. Well, we would take a higher amount. Now, how much? This is something that you definitely want to speak with one of our healthcare experts at one of our retail locations, and they will be able to guide you as to how best to utilize the nucleotide complex. Now, here's another really fun fact about nucleotides. In the Journal of International Society of Sports Nutrition, that's kind of a long journal name there, but they were looking at the benefits of nucleotide supplementation in elite athletes. And one thing that we've recognized is being fit is a good thing, but we also recognize that extensive, heavy, strenuous physical activity can actually lower the immune defenses, but just for this short little window. And you see it oftentimes in marathon runners. They're training really, really hard. And right after a marathon, after they've run their marathon that they've trained for so long for, they'll get sick with an upper respiratory infection. Well, why is this? Because we get this downward shift that the immune system really starts to get depressed. And so it's not a long time, but it's just enough that we expose ourselves to the potential of getting a cold or catching some type of an upper respiratory illness. So this can be problematic. So they said, well, let's give these high endurance athletes some nucleotide complex. And let's just do it for 4 weeks. Let's give them some nucleotides and let's see what happens. And they found this really significant shift in terms of the way that their immune system was responding after exercise. And it was counteracting the normal impairment that is usually seen. So we know that nucleotides are supporting our immune system. We know that the nucleotides can also help in terms of energy production, which makes sense because when we think about that cellular DNA, once again, we think at that cellular level in that mitochondria. So, for many people, when they start to utilize nucleotides, they also start to feel this overall sense of well being. So, it's a really, really cool formulation. It's incredibly unique in terms of being able to take something that we know supports our genetic makeup. So it's definitely something worth looking into. Go to our website, invitehealth.com, and check out the nucleotide complex. And I will be back with you in a few more days to talk about more wonderful formulations available at Invite Health. Thank you so, so very much.